Hello everyone, it's Gemma, the inspired stamper.co.uk here. Thank you for joining me, and today's project is this lovely little gift box here. It's held with a belly band, so if I just pull that up and off, our box then separates diagonally, so we've got two sections, and inside I've put a little card. There we go. And I've even made a nice cute little envelope for our card to go in, so you can pop your card in and put a little gift in with it, and then it closes up by putting the two sections back together again, and then you just pop the band back on to hold it all in place so it doesn't fall apart. There we go, and we've got our cute little gift there. Now I've made a slightly different version of this box, and I used some ribbon. I used the Hello Cupcake stamp set, which was part of the celebration, and some of the designer series paper here is the Sweetie Shop one. I can't remember the name of it. I'll look it up and I'll pop it on my blog for you. But anyway, that's what I used for this one. It's slightly different here because I've actually used ribbons instead of using a band to hold it together, and I've decorated it diagonally rather than straight. But the principle is exactly the same. Inside is a little card, and there's actually some sweeties in here which have survived my children because they haven't found them. I hid them. I was wicked. So there we go, and that folds up the same and goes back together. See, the only real difference is the ribbon holds the two halves together on this one, but I just found it really quite fiddly with the ribbon and stuff, so it's up to you. I will put instructions, written instructions for the ribbon version of the box on my blog, but today I'm going to show you this one. So let's pop this one out of the way. And for this I have used some of the Gingham Gala designer series paper and Balmy Blue cardstock. Today I'm going to use some Lemon Lime Twist, which is one of the ink colours that's going to be retiring. The 17-19 set are retiring at the end of May. So I thought it's a good idea to use some of this beautiful colour. I do love Lemon Lime Twist. It's nice and beautiful and bright. And you can use it for a girl or a boy, which is quite nice as well. Quite a unisex colour. So we've got our pieces of card here. Now, this smaller piece is what we're going to make our inner tray for our box out of. And this measures 7 15/16 of an inch by 7 15/16 of an inch. Now, I do try to avoid using such small measurements, but it just wasn't quite right using an 8" by 8" or a 7 7/8 piece. It just needed to be that little bit tinier than 8 inches. Now, this also, if you want to work in centimetres, this measures 20.2 centimetres by 20.2 centimetres. Now, on the Stampin' Up trimmer, which they're very kindly discontinuing at the end of this annual catalogue, you will see that it does come in 16 measurements as well. So if you have a Stampin' Up trimmer, don't worry, because you can find the little marker just under 8 inches and you're fine. But as I said, if it's easier, you can use 20.2 centimetres as your measurement. Okay, and then our bigger piece of cardstock here, this is what we're going to make our two sections of our box that go on the outside. And this measures 9.5 inches by 8.25 inches. So the idea is that we're going to score it and then cut this in half to make the two halves of our box sort of in one go. Do our scoring in one go anyway. Oh, sorry, and then there we go. Let's bring in my scoreboard, which you've heard me bashing about. Sorry if I made you jump there. So I'm going to start my scoring on the 9.5 inch side, and we are going to score this at 3.5 inches and at 6 inches. Then we're going to turn our cardstock. So we've got our 8.25 inch side at the top, and we're going to score this at 3.5 inches again. This time at 4 3/4 of an inch. There we go. So I'm going to take my scoreboard out of the way. I'm going to bring my trimmer in, and on the 9.5 inch side, so our longest side, let's just double check we've got the right one. I don't want to cut the wrong bit in half. So this is our 9.5 inch side. We are going to cut this at 4 3/4 of an inch. So we're going to cut that. Oh, didn't even cut. I didn't press hard enough. There we go. So now we've got our two pieces. So all we need to do now is add in a couple of diagonal score lines so we can fold it over. Because I will show you on this one, if I just undo this, you'll see that I've folded it over and glued it down to make the edges of these boxes, the edge, nice and strong. So underneath my piece of grid paper here, I've actually got a piece of foam. So I'm just going to grab my ruler and my score tool, and I'm going to line up between this score line here, this corner, and this corner there, and I'm just going to score to join those across. So it's going to look like an arrow, and you're going to do the same on this side again. Like so. So there we go, we've got our score lines, and I hope you can see them. The light isn't great today. The weather keeps going sunny, cloudy, sunny, cloudy. I have to keep turning the light on, turning the light off. But there we go. So I'm going to fold those and burnish those two. Like so. Here we go. And then I can fold and burnish these other score lines as well now. Like so. Long one there. Then I'm going to take my scissors, and we don't need all of this piece of card here, so I'm just going to leave a bit of a border and chop that corner off there on that side, and I'm going to do the same here. Okay, so we've got two flats on our arrow top pointing upwards, and now we're going to trim up these two central score lines up to this first one here, one there and one there. Then I'm just going to notch out a little piece as well, just to help it fold together nicely when we pop it together. Now one of these flaps, I'm going to choose which one is going to sit on the outside and which one is on the inside. By that I mean, when I stick my sides together like so to create the diagonal box, I just want to choose one side that's going to sit on the outside and be visible, because the other one, I'm just going to take a little slither off of here. Again, just to help it fold together and sit together nice and neatly. Just a tiny bit off, just so it sits together nicely. So once you've got it in position and glued it down in the right place, it will look nice and neat. Now these are going to be folded over on themselves and glued in. You will see that they may overlap your line a little. So I'm just going to give these a little trim as well. Like so. Just to take those points off a little bit. Like so. So now we can pop this together. I'm going to put some glue on my little tabs here and here, and I'm going to push them down. Use my bone folder just to fold them down nice and flat. There we go. Give it a good squidge. As you'll see, I use my bone folder for that a lot, which is why it's so sticky and gluey. So now I'm going to bring up my little flap in the middle, and I'm going to put some glue on there. So now you just really need to remember which one was the one that you trimmed off of, because that one's going on the inside. For me, it's this one here. If it helps, you can pop a little pencil mark on it just to remember which one it is, because you're literally taking such a tiny little bit off. Oh, let's get that in the right place. And then I'm going to put some glue on inside of this one, and then I'm going to fold it together and stick it down. There we go, and just manipulate it. Quite handy to use wet glue on this, and we can just get it nice and straight. So there we go, that is how you put together the one half of your box. I'm just going to do the other half, and then I'll rejoin you for the next part. So there we go, I have completed the other side of my box and put that together, and I've also attached my designer series paper to my two halves as well. Now the piece on here is 3¼ inches by 3¼ inches. And I've just literally cut it in half diagonally, and I did half to each box. And then around the outside I've got some strips which are 3¼ inches by 1 inch, and they're on the 2 or 4 sides of the box now. So that is the outside of our box done. We now need to make the inside tray. So I've got my piece of card that I told you about before, and it's just under 8 inches. So 7 15/16 of an inch by 7 15/16 of an inch, or 20.2 centimeters. Now the scoring's very, very simple on this. All we're going to do is score on all 4 sides at 1 inch and 2¼ inches. So we're just going to go round on the 4 sides, 1 inch and 2¼ inches. There we go. So that's that done. Let's get rid of the scoreboard again. There we go. Now we can just fold and burnish all of our score lines. And for the construction we need to do some cutting again. So I've got my paper snips, and I'm going to come in onto the second score line, straight up to the second one there, come across, and again up to the second score line. Now we are going to take out these 3 squares here. I'm going to turn that to the side there. Let's hold that up out of the way. So that's 2 gone, and the 3rd gone. All right. There we go. So we're going to repeat that on all 4 sides. And we're just going to take a bit of a notch out of these. And again, on our long piece here, just going to snip our corners off. So it all folds in nice and neatly. So let's quickly whip round our tray here. There we go. And then we're going to turn it round and repeat the same thing. So all the way up on this one and that one. Now we can just come in and take off our 3 outer squares. There we go. So that's 3 sides done. Finish this one up, and we'll take a bit out there and a bit out there and take that final corner off. So that is the shape you are looking for. Now we're going to flip it over and we're going to put glue on 4 of our tabs. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. I'm just going to push those up for a minute. They're not touching. And I am just going to use some tape really quickly on this. And we're going to put tape on the outside tabs of our box, of our tray. This just is going to make it a little bit quicker. I don't have to stand there trying to smush it all down for you. There we go. So now we can just bring our sides up together. So that's 1 and 2. Bring these up to join each other. There we go. Give that a little squeeze, and now I'm just going to go around and take off the tape on my tabs and fold them back in on themselves. And again, just gives us a nice bit of strength on the sides. It just neatens it up. It gives it a bit more of a, lot more of a neater edge on it. There we go. That final one there. Oh, that's wiggled a bit. There we go. Let's get that in the right place. Give that a good push down. Burnish once you've got them stuck down. There we go. So there's our tray for the inside. So now we can grab our 2 halves. And as you see, they do fit together really nice and snug. So it will stay shut by itself. Hopefully. You just need to give it a nice wiggle and manipulate the first time you pop it together, to get the card to sit together nicely. There we go. So that is our box made now. So all we've got to do now is put our band together. Now this is another piece of lemon lime twist cardstock, and it's 1.5 inches by 11 inches. And then I've just cut 2 strips of the Gingham Gala lemon lime twist paper. And I'm just literally going to pop this on over the top. You're going to have a join, but we can cover them up, because obviously this one only comes in 6 by 6. So I'm going to have the larger squares showing on this one. So first thing I'm going to do is stick down my designer series paper to the card. We've got a nice border on either side. That's one piece. And the other, you can use the lines to get it nice and lined up and straight. Doesn't matter if it hangs over, we can trim that off, it's not a problem. Try and get that. Ooh. Little bit wobbly, never mind. There we go. Straightens that up now, so we can give that a push down, and then you can just trim this little excess bit off. Like so. And then to do the scoring on this, because obviously it's not going to be 3 1/4 or 3 1/2 and then 1 1/2 on either side, otherwise it won't fit. What I do is I get my scoreboard. There we go, and I've got my band here. Pop that on roughly there. Now I'm going to use the back side because it's a bit stronger than the front. And then I sort of line it up the best I can in the middle of my belly band. And then I line it up against a score mark. And then I just give that, put a little marker, take that away, and then push it up to the top of the scoreboard so it doesn't wobble around too much, and then give it a score and a fold. And then I turn it round, push that flush, hold it against the edge, and again just make a little mark. There we go, and then you can push it up. Now this one has worked out, so it is 3 5/8 of an inch, my gap here. So then I can give that a little fold upwards and just double check that it sits in there quite nicely, which it does. There we go. So now we just need to do the same for the side. So again, I get the edge of my box and I just push that up to the edge of my scoreboard, make a little mark, take it away, and then give that a score and a fold. And we're just going to turn it around and do the same on the other side. Again, make a nice little mark and then give that a fold over, because obviously you don't want it too tight because you need to be able to remove it. And then hopefully it should, there we go, come around and sit on your box. Now you're going to notice that this is not sitting together very well, so let's take a look inside our box. Sometimes you just need to go around and maybe flatten down these little right up to the corner a little bit more, just to help it sit inside the two halves of your box. So you've not done anything wrong. Sometimes it just needs a bit more of a squish down. There we go, that should help. So now if we slide that back in, yeah, you'll see that sitting in there a bit tighter. There we go. No, it hasn't really made much difference. Oh, it has a bit. There we go. So you'll see that's now a bit tighter on there. There we go. So that's ready then to glue that together, whatever way around that you want to pop it on. There we go. So if I turn this over, Now I'm going to put a bit of glue here on this end and another bit on this end. So let's take the scoreboard out of the way. Does not need to be floating around there, does it? There we go. So as I said, a bit of glue on this end and some on this side. You can pop your box flat and line them up and stick them down. Just hold that for a moment. There we go. And that is our band made. So now all we need to do is pop together our little decoration for the front. So I've used my layering ovals, and I've got a scalloped one and a rounded one, and I've also got a little piece of Whisper White, which is 2 3/4 by 5/8 of an inch roughly. And from the piece of cake stamp set, I've got the Happy Birthday stamp, and I'm going to use some lemon lime twist ink to stamp that on my piece of Whisper White. Pop that in the middle. There we go. And I'm just going to snip into the two ends. There we go, on either side. And I'm going to stick this down flat onto the plain lemon lime twist card. So that's going on there. And I'm going to use some dimensionals on the back of the sentiment to attach that to the ovals. And then a couple more dimensionals across the back of this to stick it to the band for the box. And that will sit on there like so. And that is our box done and completed. There we go. So I'm going to pop the card and the envelope that's going to go inside. I'm going to put that on a separate tutorial for you, because not everyone will want to put a card inside the box. Completely optional, whatever you want to put in there. So I'm going to finish this one now here, and then in the next part of the tutorial I will be showing you how I made the card and the envelope, and also the measurements. So don't forget, all the measurements for this will be on my blog, and the link to that is in the description box below. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next part. Thanks, bye.